Hello, my beautiful, gorgeous dancer, and welcome to another episode of More Than Dance. Today's episode is encouraged by my dad, and it is about the door before the dream, the opportunity that is a great opportunity, and it also isn't exactly what you want. We are going to discuss the reason why taking these opportunities is such a great idea for your growth and to know exactly when it's an opportunity and when it's a distraction. Let's go back to freshman year of high school when I started teaching for my dance studio. It was a really cute opportunity to assist and teach and choreograph. And it was then that I started thinking, what will I do when I grow up? I think I'm going to be a dance studio owner. That's when the thought plotted. Now, after graduating and going to college, I went to Providence College, the idea of owning a dance studio was still there. However, it seemed like it was just a further along in life type thing. It was like, no, you don't own a studio right after college. Like, do some stuff and then own a studio. I don't know why it was like that, but it was. And it was probably because a lot of things that were shaped in my life were based off of what we typically do. So typically, we go to high school. Typically, we graduate. Typically, we then go to college, get a degree, and then we do something, a job that is standard and makes sense. It's hard to have a vision when you don't know the available visions to have. It's also easy to follow in footsteps that you see around you. So at Providence College, there wasn't a major called owning a dance studio. And shame on me also for being like completely uneducated in what a business major would have been, however helpful that may have been for me. I actually kind of grew up in the health field because my dad's a surgeon and my mom ran his office and my brother and I, we were assistants to him, surgical assistants, which is actually just such a cool, like really fun job to have as a teenager. And it was kind of like, okay, what a cool thing, like profitable and interesting and has depth. And the way that those options were shown was, okay, follow in the footsteps, become a doctor too, or do something that is related. So me not being sure, despite the fact that I did go to doctor camp, story for another day, I ended up going to school for health policy and management. It was a great couple classes. I remember being an iPod for a Halloween costume and getting like extra credit. Actually, my dad made that costume. We're just going to dedicate this podcast episode to my dad, I guess. So my dad made that costume and it won. And it won over like 3 different class sessions of, I don't really know how it happened, but it was votes and it was really cute. And basically it like gave you extra credit, not just on the test, but like on the actual grade. So clearly me going after extra credit like that, naturally I wasn't that interested in this class at all. I was just doing it because I was in it. And when I'm thinking about like the things that really truly excited me, it was always dance. It was always you. It was always dance. I love dance. And it's so funny because, you know, when you think about this, you're like, okay, well, if there was a major, I would have done that. And then you can question like, okay, well, why didn't you go to a school that did have a major? I don't know. It's not how it was supposed to be for me. What was supposed to happen was what happened, which was, that was my freshman year that I was just talking about. Sophomore year, I just remember calling my mom in a panic because at that time I had gone from health policy management to undecided to potentially social work to, what the F? Like, what am I going to do? Should I transfer? Should I go find a school? But at that point, it was a little impossible for me to transfer because I had already established myself as a dance company member. I had already established myself as an instructor and a personal trainer at the campus. And it was already real that my classes were making an impact on the people around me on campus. I mean, there were lines out the door at 10:30 p.m. to have a class. And it was lit and it was fun. And I could tell you this other story about how when people doubt you, because in those moments, I'll never forget that the main instructor was like, you can try 10:30, but probably will never work. Oh, it worked. And people loved it. And so I was established on campus. I felt comfortable. I knew a lot of people and it was fun. The only thing I truly didn't like was what I was studying. I didn't like Western Civ. I really didn't like a lot of it. And then after sitting with my mom at cellos, if you're a Rhode Islander, you know, I guess I'm a Rhode Island. I'm really a masshole, but I'm a Rhode Islander now. Well, no, no, I can't say that. No. I mean, I'm both. Anyway, she came up after a Wednesday. She had Wednesdays off, and we sat down and we went through the course booklet. And we were like, what could I take a degree in and still graduate on time? And what could I like maybe also enjoy? And it was kind of funny, really, because the only thing that truly stood out, now I could look at it and I'd be like, ooh, marketing, ooh, business, ooh, like finance, economics. Like I would think about all these other things that I just wasn't interested in and didn't even know to be interested in those things. So what stood out was elementary special education. So it was a dual major. And, you know, we went through all the things, and it turned out like I already had one of the prerequisites because of the social work thing. And I was like, okay, all right, I think I can do this. So it was towards the end of my sophomore year that I started this degree, and I was able to fit it. And have you ever learned something and you learn it from like the actual basics? Like for dance, because I was so young, the basics, I don't even know what the basics were. Like the basics were just like ingrained. With teaching, it was different. I was very aware of all of it. The fundamentals, it was taught from the basics to the more advanced topics. Unlike dance. Dance was just like, here, this is what you should do, move around, and like you like kind of like look back and you're like, oh, like, I know how to do that thing. So learning these basics and these fundamentals of teaching, it was really cool because things just made sense for how to navigate a classroom. And I didn't know at the time that this was my door. I thought this was maybe what I would do for a little bit. I invested my time into it, and I thought that maybe, okay, like I was good at it. It was natural for me. I liked it enough, and it still wasn't my dream. It still was something I really didn't wish to do. It was something that felt like it wasn't a part of me. Yet it was a great opportunity, and it led me to my green, my destiny. So when I started teaching dance more regularly, once I opened up the studio, there were so many things that I could make correlations to from teaching, specifically classroom management. I mean, there's so much to be said about managing a class, a room full of people with all different learning styles, all different needs, all different types of questions, how to navigate that, how to understand learning styles. So there really was so much information, yet I wasn't teaching elementary ed. I wasn't teaching special ed. I was teaching dance, and I was teaching adults, and everything makes sense. So today, if you're thinking about something that is loosely related to something that you want to do, and you're wondering, oh my gosh, like, I don't know if I should take this opportunity. I don't know if it's going to be a hindrance to me, if it's going to distract me from my big goal. It might be an unconscious thing like me. Like I was just like, okay, like I was kind of coasting. I was in the lazy river, you know, I was like on the tube, just chilling, like, oh, okay, teaching. All right, I can do that. Because really I thought my big thing was going to happen like 10 years later than it did. I didn't know that I was going to open up a dance studio when I graduated. I really didn't. And when it happened, it was actually after a year of teaching in a school system and realizing, oh yeah, this is not for me. So yes, it took some like trusting of my gut, and it also took a lot of guts, I guess you would say, to step into the zone of owning a business, which for a lot of people, it is scary. However, then it wasn't truly scary for me. It felt so right. And what felt so wrong was the opportunity that led me to my dream. And that's partially going to be for you, maybe the ugly stage or the ick stage when you feel awkward when you're learning something. Or it's like, what's the use or what's the point? Why am I doing this? Well, here's some reasons why you might do something that is slightly off track from your dream. For one, saying yes to something that isn't exactly what you're saying yes to isn't sidelining your dream. Because you can say yes to something and still say yes to something that is closely related to your dream. This almost opportunity, or this very close opportunity to your dream, could be what leads you to your dream. There's going to be skills that you acquire when doing this said opportunity that is going to teach you things that you need to do your dream job, your dream gig, or dream scenario. And when you're doing things that involve circles of people, there's overlap. And that can connect you to people that are important, that can bring you and lead you to the people that you need to know to be able to do the thing that you need to do. Have you ever had a situation like that where you were doing something and you were working on it and you were like, okay, I don't really know where to go. And then magically this random person comes. And they're not even random. They're just like someone in your life that you already know. And they're like, oh yeah, I do that. And then you're like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Like, cause I just needed someone who knew this because I needed this information to do X, Y, Z. That has happened on so many occasions in my life where it's like, wow, the right people come in at the right time to bring you to where you need to be at the right time. Remember, divine timing. So when you're taking this almost opportunity or the door before the dream, you're getting an opportunity to be with people that are in that same circle versus if you said no to it because it wasn't exactly it. It's kind of like when you go to a restaurant and you know you want something sweet and you want like chocolate cake and you want specifically Greg's chocolate cake and you're like, okay, well, I'll have this chocolate cake. It's like not it, but sometimes it does the trick and sometimes it doesn't. And so when it doesn't, it's like, one, it's not a waste of time because there's always something that you've learned in there. Even if it's you don't want to do something like that again. Or for instance, in the example of the cake, I don't want to have that kind of cake again. I only want to have Death by Chocolate by Greg's. I am so Rhode Island. And just like we were talking about decision making the other day, this doesn't need to be labeled the right decision, the right opportunity, the wrong decision. It just is. It's just something you decided to do. And it felt like a good idea. Let's say that you're starting out and you want to try a dance class. Let's say that you want to do pointe. Well, to do pointe, really, you need to start with ballet. So already you'll be entering a door that's closer to your dream. Let's also say that wherever you are, there's not a ballet class available that fits your schedule. So instead, you find a studio that offers heels, jazz, contemporary, something like my studio. There's going to be a lot of similarities in these classes that you're going to learn. For one, you're going to learn dance etiquette. At my studio, we have a very proper body language guideline to allow all participants to be open. It's the best way to learn because it's non-threatening and it's not intimidating. So that's going to be the same across the board with a ballet studio, open body language. Another is you're going to be learning whether or not you are a left side or right side learner. Where in the room do you learn best? How do you make the best questions to help you not be confused? I always tell my students, the best question that you can ask is a specific question. The worst question you can ask is a statement, I'm confused, because that doesn't help anyone. What's going to help you as a dance learner is to know exactly where are you getting confused. Do you not hear the musicality? Do you not know where the arm goes? Do you not know which direction to go? And being able to cultivate your own questions as a dance learner is going to help you thrive. That's a great skill that you're going to learn all across the board in all types of dance, no matter which one you choose. When you say yes to something that's closely related, you're also saying yes to building momentum, building confidence, understanding, and allowing yourself to continue towards the bigger goal. There are so many hidden gems in saying yes. I always think about Jim Carrey, Yes Man, when all of these amazing opportunities came to him in that movie, from him simply saying yes. And we don't know the extent of it until we say yes. Have you ever had that opportunity of doing something and just because of the fact that you've already done it once, you're kind of okay with doing it again? It takes away that like fear factor of like, oh my gosh, I've never done it before, so I don't really know. But no, now you've done it before. So you know how it goes, you know how to practice for it, you know what to do for it, you know how to pack for it. And just those little tiny things, those little tiny learnings can help you get to where you want to go. So while I was, yes, learning about elementary special education, I was learning about IEPs and I was learning about exactly how to make objectives for my lesson plans. These are all still things that I do for my current classes, just in a very, very different way. No, none of my students are on IEPs for dance. However, they do have specific learning styles that I look at, that I can see, that I can pinpoint. For example, yesterday I was teaching and I had a new student and I was like, "Hi, can you move right here?" Because I just knew how she was learning. I knew how her eyes were tracking. I knew how she was getting the movement. And she was literally like, "I'm so glad that you moved me there," because I was understanding the movement so much better in that spot. It takes the ability to know about your students to teach your students. And that's one of the biggest things that I learned from teaching. Growth doesn't only come from perfect situations. It comes from situations that are also in between situations. So how do you figure out if this thing that you're about to do is more of a distraction or leading you to your dream? So one, I would look at the time commitment. We have so many things that we do during the week. We need time for sleep and time for our personal things, time for work, and time for our big goals. So what is your big goal? And does your goal align with this? If that's a yes, then keep going. Next, once you know that you have the time for it, now let's think about the time slots. So there might be overlapping time things that you get to figure out. Now, one of the things is there might be an overlap during something that is actually more related to your goals. If that's the case, then I would choose the one that's more related to your goals. The next is, will this opportunity cost you? Is it going to require you to invest financially? Is it going to take you out of the time that you get to spend with your loved one, your family? Is it going to be a mental burden? And sometimes we don't know what we're getting into until we're into it. And then we're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know. That's okay. Then you know for next time. And sometimes it's these things that do push us in the best way because it teaches us mental endurance. Mental endurance is one of the most powerful skills. Have you ever done something where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this thing, that's cool, and it's like exhausting. But then you do that thing times 3, like maybe 2 weeks from then, and it's like not that big of a deal. It's because we adjust mentally just as we adjust physically. Then you might look at the growth potential. So is there a growth for maybe there's an opportunity to make money? Maybe there's an opportunity to make more friends. You might also increase your skill level, which could in turn make you more marketable later on. Oh, have you ever done this? Why, yes, I have. Does this opportunity put you in rooms with people that are doing what you want to do? The next one is, are you saying yes because of fear? Even though we said yes, there's a bigger, better opportunity for us to say yes to. And this yes opportunity that we said yes to is actually one that's holding us back from expansion. It's kind of like the idea of, well, what if nothing else comes? Expansion can feel like, wow, this is kind of scary, but I want to do it. Expansion feels like, ooh, I could grow from this. Expansion feels like, this is a stretch in the right direction. Next is, does this match the version of you that you're becoming or a past version of yourself? So is this something that you would say yes to maybe 5 years ago? Or is it something that future you or the you that you wish to be is saying yes to? Have you ever heard of the phrase be, do, have? It's about being and embodying that being that is the person that is getting the gigs, making the money, and doing exactly what your dream is. So it's being that person even though you're not that person yet. Saying yes to opportunities that person, which is you technically, would say yes to. Creating relationships with people that person would create relationships with. And lastly, maybe the best one is just a vibe check. Check in with your gut and your instincts and to just see like, okay, how does this feel? If it feels good, if your body is saying yes, you might say yes. So I hope the next time that you get this opportunity to say yes to an opportunity, you get to think about the ways that it will bring you closer to your dream and to remember that not every situation has to be the most perfect situation to get you to your goals. So good luck. I can't wait to hear about it. You can always drop me a line in the DMs, Chrissy Filipino on Instagram. And if this was helpful for you, it would mean the world to me if you left a 5-star written review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the dance floor.